saying that will not be an allowed expense in that year of operation. It has to be spread over 3 years. And again,
but this is capped at 30%.
And again, this is capped at 30% at the earnings before interest and tax. So assuming you're dealing with a large transaction where you had borrowed up to 1 billion shillings, again, if I use the large amounts, and we are saying that the exchange rate was 109 when you borrowed, and now it is at 129. You can imagine what we are saying. So we are simply chasing away investors, and anybody who's trying to bring in foreign currency. Again, we are defying what we are saying. We want to attract investors, and on this other side we are taking away their rights. So those are two, and maybe if I'm allowed, I can proceed with another one.
Yes, the final one.
Yes, a final one. I will talk about, there are two other interesting ones, but I could speak of one that talks about, again, on investors. We used to have, or we have organization we call branch companies, where a company from a foreign country can come and set base here. So taxation was up to the point where the profits they have made, 30% of that they can they pay taxes for it. Anything above that they can repatriate. But now they're being told, before you repatriate, you have to ensure that you pay additional tax on the income.
You pay taxes first in Kenya.
Exactly.
Before you repatriate your profits.
That was mandatory. You have to pay your taxes after from the profits that you've made. But before you can repatriate, you have to pay further tax. So that calls in for double taxation.
But because this is a conversation that has been held, that has been there in the past, whereby, and I think Kenya, the National Treasury is borrowing so much from the American system, whereby the American law dictates that before an American company pays taxes in a foreign company, they first pay their tax obligations to the American government first, and then they pay the remainder to the country where they are domiciled. And the argument has always been that you have companies, for example, American companies in Kenya that are doing business here in Kenya. They are making a lot of profit, but instead of paying equal taxes to the government of Kenya where they are domiciled, they are paying so much profit to American government as opposed to the Kenyan government. And so this bill here seeks to deal with that situation.
In rebuttal to what you're saying, our economies are totally different. The American economy is a larger economy. Our economy is more of a developing economy. So we are at the mercy of the investors who are coming in. If we make it unfavorable for the investors to do that, they will go next door. And remember, what do we want? We want to grow our economy. We want more foreign currency to come in.
Actually,
we can't
the target
brag.
is 10 trillion shillings.
Exactly.
By the close of this year.
Right, 10 trillion shillings. So if we behave like how the Americans will behave, taking care when they're trying to take care of the investors, then we'll completely be losing focus. Yes, yes, that would be my submission on that.
Muturi, do you agree with lawyer Akamwara?
Yes, I do agree. The issue here is actually the deductibility of that particular amount within a certain period. Previously, there was 3 years when somebody is allowed to claim that, but now it has been restricted to 3 years. We are, as the institute, we are looking at it and say, if that has to be there, then that period should be extended to 9 years. Yeah, and the other thing he has talked about investment. Yes, the country need to promote investment all around. Now, I can add to what you have said. There is what you call capital deduction, where an investor, once he has invested outside Nairobi, is allowed to deduct that capital expenses as he works on the taxable income. Now, the current bill, and I think that is section clause 9.
Quickly before we take a break,
where they have said if you have been handling a certain business in Nairobi, and you start the same outside Nairobi, then you don't qualify for that kind of deduction. So that is going to affect investment decisions in this country for most of the, because if you have to go and start a completely different business who does not relate to the business you are doing, that will also, so we are suggesting that it should be allowed the way it has been allowed, which is about 200% and 150% outside Nairobi.
And I wanted to add that, and you see that helps in the devolution exercise in itself, where we are saying we want to have as many organizations that relate to a certain institution or to a certain region going to that area. If we are going to Mumias where sugar is being grown, we want the factories to go to that side. If we are talking about fishing, we want the industries that relate to fishing to go to that side, because what the revenue authority was doing, it would give an incentive of double of the value of your investment. But now if you remove that and you go ahead and even tax the repatriation of your profits, it means that you're discouraging investors to come in.
Very good. I mean, when we come back, I also want to hear your thoughts around the introduction of VAT on insurance compensation in relation to assets which input VAT has been claimed. I also want to hear thoughts whether we are also talking about double taxation here. And also remember, the reason why VAT was removed on compensation was to help people and encourage more people to go into savings. Now, what we're asking is whether this is likely now to do the opposite. So I would want to hear your reactions to this. Well, if you're just joining us, you're watching Biz Check live from Broadcasting House. We are discussing the finance bill, among many other issues, and of course highlighting some of the less talked about issues that are contained in this document. My name is O'Brien Kimani. We're taking a break and then we're back.
기도 들어주시면 제 평생 사제의 도리를 다해서.
뇌물 받으러 가시는 거예요?
네가 아직 모르는구나. 우리 서에서 뇌물 안 받는 건 나밖에 없어.
뭐라고 씨부리는 거야? 막을.
아씨!
쟤들이 유일하게 겁내는 게 선배님이라면서요. 선배님이랑 싸움 붙으려면 상주회사 회원가입부터 하고 와야 된다면서요.
Una fotografia picha?
Hapa pana picha. Hii ni frame tu. Mtazitoa zote hizi ntundike zangu.
Kombo ndio alikuja hapa na Mama Lea. Wajua walitoana wapi? Hebu punguza wasiwasi nawe. Kama kuna jambo lolote lile ambalo linazuia maendeleo ya hii kampuni, lazima nijue.
I'm giving you 24 hours. Wewe umeregesha hii pesa kwenye akaunti ya ofisi. La sivyo utapambana na mkono wa sheria.
Oh my God.
One day, I'll come over and have a chat with my dad, and I will tell him absolutely everything I know. He will find out who you really are, Malena. And on that day, I'll be the happiest woman on earth. I can't wait. I'm really so excited for that moment.
If there's anyone here today who has reasons why these two shouldn't be married, you may speak now or forever hold your peace.
Please don't do it. I just can't let you go through with this.
Las Bandidas. Subhanallah walhamdulillah. La ilaha illallah wallahu akbar.
Mwenyezi anasema wala in kafartum, ikiwa mtakufuru neema za Allah, inna adhabi la shadid, hakika adhabu yangu ni nzito, hakuna mtatakayeweza kuihimili adhabu ya Allah tabaraka wa taala. Aqulu ma tasmaun.
Ikafikia kiwango ambacho na Aisha radhiallahu anha aliweza kumuuliza, hivi mbona wazidisha ibada kwa wingi sana wakati Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala amekujalia neema? Basi Mtume Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam alijibu kwa kuuliza, je, sipaswi kuwa mja mwenye kumshukuru Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ambaye ni Mola wangu?
Well, very well. Welcome back. You're watching Beats Check live from Broadcasting House. Our conversation is on this document. It is green in color, printed by the government printer. It is called the Finance Bill 2023 and forwarded to the National Assembly. What you don't know is that there are about how many pages? This is a document with about 377 pages. This is a document that has generated so much reaction. It's green in color. It has always been green. I think I need to find out why is it in green. And there are so many. It contains about how many bills? It contains about a number of proposals. And so this is what we are discussing this morning. This is a document that is going to be debated in Parliament, and if it is approved in its current state, then it's going to have far-reaching consequences on your finances. And that's why we have financial experts in the studio. We have FCPA Maturi, who is joining us here to help us discuss this document. That is Evans Maturi and Robert Kamwara, who is a taxation lawyer, joining us this morning so that they can help put into perspective this document. I mean, there's so much noise out there about this document, but now it's time that we put some sense into what exactly this bill talks about. Because there are also other areas that this bill is proposing that are so good to us as Kenyans. And so we also need to touch into that in the spirit of fairness. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much and welcome back to this conversation. Before we went for the break, I wanted to hear from you, what will be the impact on the VAT on insurance compensation, and what exactly does it mean, Peter? I mean, Evans.
It's okay. Insurance compensation is what you get for what to replace what you lost. Maybe in your car, you was involved in an accident and you have been compensated.
Yeah.
Now, when you receive that money, is the objective is to take you back to where you are. If possible, you can be able to buy the same car, or. But now, this particular amount has been included in the current bill, which is under discussion. That is a taxable amount. Now, the effect of this is that even the person who's receiving that money, because that amount which was given was supposed to restore this particular to a level that it was. So that will be less by the amount that has been
and it will be 16%.
16%.
And so then this begs the other question. I mean, if, for example, I bought a house and then for one reason or the other, or let's even use a vehicle. I mean, it's got into an accident. It's written off. I am compensated by my insurer, let's say to the tune of 2 million shillings for the car. And then I have to pay 16%, which comes to, is it 360? 360 or 320, thereabout. And despite the fact that I had paid taxes on the car that got damaged, so isn't this more Kamwara double taxation on me?
The same question was posed yesterday to the movers of the motion, and to their defense, I would say that there is a misconception actually when it comes to the understanding of the issue to do with insurance. what the movers of the bill are actually saying in their defense to the same. They're saying that if a business has suffered a loss and a compensation is being done, when you are lodging your claim, assuming it was 1 million on the goods that are lost, so you lodge a claim of 1 million plus VAT, the additional 16% figure that is there, when compensated by the insurance company, the money has to be paid back to the insurance. So ideally, it is not meant to be a double taxation. It is a refund, because if those goods were to be sold, then there is an element of VAT input that you would have claimed.
And so the question of double taxation here,
so the double taxation does not come in. It does not come in. But it's a debate that needs to be discussed and expounded further. As you rightly said when you started, there are many good things that come in with the bill, and people have demonized the bill in itself. But we need to read it keenly, so that we don't lose focus and end up concentrating on non-issues. And when the main issues that are affecting us pass by, then we end up losing, and we all start running to court when it's too late.
I know in the past, because as I said, when we were starting this program, that every year, I mean, it is a custom that the National Treasury must table a finance bill in Parliament, outlining various strategies that the government is going to use to put in place to ensure that we raise the taxes to fund the budget. And I know in some cases people have gone to court and argued on several issues. And I know, Kamwara, you have gone to court in the past and argued about the 1.5%.
The 3% minimum tax.
The 3% minimum tax. And, and the court ruled in your favor. The people who have gone to court, to challenge this document, do they have any legal backing?
Yes, they do. They have a legal backing, and they also have more than a legal backing only on the Act, but also on many other laws that are there. We have the Constitution. We have a reason why everybody should go to court. Number one, the main thing that most of the lawyers have used is the issue of public participation. And a good question that you asked, why this time around we are having so much public participation. What Parliament and the executive have done is they have tried as much as possible to encourage public participation. What we are yet to see is this so-called public participation, all these memorandums that organizations have put in place, individuals and even government institutions have come in the defense of their own when presenting the bill, whether this will be put into action. And they will have a reason why they will go to court and try and fight it out. So we are yet to see whether public participation will come to play. We've had sentiments that the bill has to pass as it is. That does not encourage public participation. So we are yet to see whether that will come into play.
What should come first? Is this to take this bill to court, or to wait for it to be debated, to be passed, and then you move to court? What should come first?
Rightly, everybody has a right to do what he feels is right according to the Constitution. Everybody has a right to access justice. You can decide to take the bill to court, but ideally it is going to be debated, and that is the procedure. It is going to be debated in court today, to be debated in Parliament this week. Then after that, next week. If it is not agreeable and becomes an act of Parliament, and you feel go to court, you can go and fight against that.
But as it is now, because now it is a bill, it is not a law, can I take this document to court and say that it is infringing on my rights as a Kenyan, and yet it is not a law, it is just a document, they are just mere proposals?
You can go to court and debate that it should not be debated in Parliament. You have a right to do that, because you feel that...
So I can only go to court and say that Parliament should not debate this document.
But you need to have very clear grounds on why you feel that this should not be debated or should not be decided this way. Yes.
And then the courts will decide whether to grant you your prayers.
Yes.
So if the court was to decide that, can we anticipate a situation whereby courts would say this document should not be debated?
Remember, you have a right. The legislators, the work of the legislator is to make laws, right?
Precisely.
Yes. So he has a right to make laws. So debating whether it should be in and out, we'll leave it to the courts to decide. We already have
but from where you stand,
yes,
as a lawyer, would we have this kind? Do we have any precedent or any jurisprudence that can be used to argue that this Parliament should not debate this document?
We already have the lawyer of the people in Parliament, in court, who has put in his petition, and we'll leave it to the courts to decide.
The courts will decide.
Yes.
Well, we are here, we are watching, and we'll definitely be analyzing the situation as it evolves in Parliament. Something else that this bill is talking about is the payment of excise duty within 24 hours of closure of a transaction. Within 24 hours, within the closure of a transaction. That puts tremendous pressure on Kenya Revenue Authority to do this. Is this workable, honestly speaking?
You know, we are looking at a situation where we have perfect operating systems, in that everything is online, in that when you do some transactions, all the deductions will be done and you will be able to do them. But practically this is not the case.
That is the now ideal situation. That this bill is anticipating.
Based on the bill.
But the reality is different.
The reality is different. And these withholdings affect all Kenyans. Some don't have systems, some have systems, and they may not. Actually, any system, your taxation should be very good in terms of administration. But now this puts a lot of pressure on the Kenyans in giving that return. It's not actually practicable, and there will be a lot of even preparing the accurate records that you take to KRA might not be. Of course, KRA has come up with the systems like e-Teams, the system that is using e-tax, but the ordinary Kenyans may not have systems that will be able to meet that deadline. That deadline is to us. Yeah.
And so there will be retributions.
It should remain the way it has been up to the
what is the
20th.
Up to the 20th of every
20th
month?
of the following month.
Of the following month.
Yes, that's when you can be able to pay that. But now, and again, this one, if it has to come immediately, there is also cash flow problem. As you deduct this, and within that 24, some amount may not have come, so it will cause a lot of chaos within the business environment. Yeah.
As the Institute of Certified Accountants of Kenya, sorry about that. I'm sure you have presented your reservations about this bill to the National Assembly. Have you done that?
Yes.
Because that's your responsibility.
This is what we have presented.
What are you saying about that?
It should remain the 20th month of the following month, the way it has been. Yeah, it is something we have discussed, and we've involved all the accountants countrywide. They have put their input. We have already submitted this particular document with a lot of changes which I may not be able to discuss here, and we expect that those changes will be implemented. And whichever anything we want changes, we have recommended the exact thing that we want to be done by the drafters of this particular document.
And yes.
Maybe in support of FCPA Muturi's comment, let's make it practical. For a payment to go through, if it's an EFT transaction, an EFT transaction may take up to 3 days to go through. it takes two to 3 days for a check
and
to
EFT
go through.
stands for electronic
funds transfer.
Yeah. We must always have the public in mind.
Yes. Thank you for that. Now, in such a situation, then you can see you will be now having to be financing the coffers because you do not have the cash flow. So
you'll be forced to pay from your pocket.
You'll have to be paying from your pocket. Remember, you also have other expenses to pay. You have to pay for the goods. You have to pay for other recurrent expenditures. And it makes it very impractical to do business that way. Something I may want to touch also on the practicability of some of these things. There is the issue on the capital gains that has come into fore. Let me just read you what we brought out in our memorandum. We say that where property is transferred in a transaction that is not subject to capital gains, this is what it says, and the property is subsequently transferred in a taxable transaction within a period of 5 years, of less than 5 years, the amount has to be taxed at the adjusted price. I want to make it
and
as
the
simple.
Adjusted price this time around it will be what?
The adjusted price will not take into consideration the new price that was the property was transferred to. Let me make it practical. For example, an aging man decides to transfer, as in the form of a gift to his son, a property that he had bought some years back at 1 million shillings, but decides to transfer now after the gains of the valuation of the property to 10 million shillings. It becomes by default that the son takes the property at 10 million. Then due to cash flow issues, maybe the son has to take care of the rest of the estate, he has to sell the property. In less than 5 years, as we are saying. What the bill is introducing is saying that you have to now, if you decide to sell the property at maybe a gain of to 11 million shillings, you have to pay capital gains on 10 million.
On 10 million.
On 10 million. 1 million minus the 11 million you're selling it at. Now you can see the mischief that comes into it. They are trying to cure some mischief, but at the end of the day, the individuals are suffering. So the man who has inherited the property or received the property as a gift ends up paying taxes that
ordinarily, I mean, help us understand here.
Yeah,
for example, I'm selling my property, which is valued at 10 million shillings.
Yes.
But I bought it when it was valued at 2 million shillings.
Yes.
If I dispose of this property today, which is now valued at 10 million shillings,
yes,
do I pay CGT on the 2 million shillings that I bought it, or the 10 million shillings that I'm disposing of it of today?
You pay it on the adjusted price.
The 10 million shillings?
Yes. You get the difference between the 10 million and the 10 and the 2 million.
So you pay
it's
on
the
8
that you pay 5%. Okay, if the capital gains being paid is 5%.
Yeah.
Okay, now it has even gone up. Okay, now that is what we're saying. In now an ideal situation where the transaction that was done, the transfer was being done to somebody where capital gains was not supposed to be paid, because as I give an example where it's between relatives or in a situation where it's a divorce or matrimonial matter, then in that case you're not supposed to pay the capital gains. So now they're discouraging the transfer of properties from one individual to another in such a situation. Yes.
And so legally, that clause now can be challenged on the basis of fairness.
Yes.
And the Constitution is very clear that every person should be treated fairly and equally. So could this be one of the grounds that people have moved to court to challenge this document?
Yes.
On the grounds of fairness?
On the issue of fairness, because it should be on case-to-case basis. If I was to give a recommendation, we can see where the mischief is. Some people would actually just simply transfer from one person to another, or a spouse to another spouse, simply just to play around and cover some, go around paying taxes. But what you're saying now is, let the issues be addressed on a case-to-case basis, and that will introduce the issue of fairness.
Let's also talk about something that is really going to help in the tax management and filing of taxes in this country. And when you look at the Tax Procedures Act, or TPA Section 23, it talks about electronic tax records. And so the bill proposes to introduce Section 23A to empower the Commissioner to establish an electronic tax system for issuing tax invoices and keeping records of stocks. Now, in my argument, this is a welcome move, and it is going to help in the management and the filing of taxes, as well as the issues of claiming for tax refunds. And we know that the Kenya Revenue Authority owes refunds of almost 60 billion shillings the last time I checked. What do you make of these, Evans?
The most important thing in everywhere is the systems. There's a lot of advancement in technology, and it's very important that the KRA is leveraging on the development of technology. The issue which is bringing a problem is that in this particular bill, they are provided that if somebody is not in that system, or he has not generated an invoice through that system, then that should not be considered as an input tax. So what it means is that if all people, the majority of people may not, installing some of those systems, it costs, especially for our companies, small companies. Now, that should have been given time instead of implementing it immediately. It should be left the way it has been. Of course, they can use the system, but the issue of not allowing the input tax to be considered for the companies which have not used the tax teams. If they have not used that one, that's why there is a lot of cries out there. Yeah.
And something else which I want to hear from Kamwaro, and this is Section 18 of the Income Tax Act, and I'm much more interested on the withholding tax on rental income collected by agency. And it talks about, the bill proposes that a person who receives rental income on behalf of the owner of the premises shall deduct tax thereof or therefrom. And so are we anticipating a situation whereby now Kenya Revenue Authority is going to appoint agents to be collecting taxes on my rental, or how is this expected to work out?
This is a welcome move, and as ideally part of the canons of taxation is it should be as easy as possible to collect the rent. So in a situation where we have large agents that collect taxes, we have the large institutions in the country that have been mandated by property owners to collect rent on behalf. It is making it simplified. Simply give us a schedule of all your clients, give us a schedule of the properties that they have, and to give us a schedule, on the schedule tell us how much revenue they have earned. Now this makes it simple, and the tax base is widened. Ideally, the essence of this is to widen the tax net.
But why? But also bearing in mind that this bill is coming at a time when the country is going through a rough economic patch, and you have so many Kenyans who are struggling to pay rents, and sometimes they are delaying, and sometimes they are paying in installments. So how would these be calculated?
This can be easily cured by dealing on computing the tax on a cash basis. If somebody has a rental income, has a rental expense, supposed to pay rent of 10,000 shillings, and has paid an installment, only managed to pay 4,000 shillings, let it be on the installment of the amount paid. The same to the same point that you raised on the electronic tax system. It's also again a welcome move. All that we want to do is let's have it as simple as possible, because we are widening the tax base, and what we want is to have as many people coming into the net of paying VAT. At the end of the day, instead of remaining at 16, we want it to be a situation where we'll be paying 12%, because the tax net is wider. And the tax base now will make it easy for everybody to come in and pay his taxes. So you will not find those who are in an upper class or those who are running institutions and companies saying that we are forced to pay so much tax.
Very good. Gentlemen, I mean, I can see, time is coming to 1 minute past 11 o'clock, and we have to bring this conversation to a close, but not before I give you, each one of you 30 seconds to make your final submissions on the Finance Bill 2023. And I'll start with Evans Moturi.
My last comment would be is that the government has a responsibility to collect the tax and incur the necessary expenses for the growth of this particular country. But as they do it, the tax system must be very convenient to the Kenyans, and some clauses which are in that particular bill, they are actually negating the policy of the government, especially the hustlers policy, because there are a lot of clauses which are touching on the clauses. Like now, for example, one of the terms is to have digital and digital superhighways, and when you bring in the tax on content, and this is actually being done. It's not my age who will start working on the contents. Of course, I can do it, but most of them are the young people, the youth, which the government is supposed to support. Yes, they have said that the housing levy is going to encourage jobs, but we cannot concentrate only on the building sector or to create jobs. Jobs should be created all over, because now if we talk of, are we motivating the youth to go to the construction industry, or what are we doing? But the main thing, the housing, Kenyans have houses, institutions have facilities that to provide for. It's going to be very a heavy load to employees, especially those who have been loaded with, they have housing and they have other taxes, the disposable income. They will have more effect, negative effect than what we expect. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Kamara.
A budget has got two sides. The incomes, as we are all discussing about, where the revenues will come from, where the money will, whether it will come from debt, whether the money is going to come from taxes, or whether the money is going to be coming from the parastatals. That is where the money is coming from. That is being discussed widely. But are we also remembering that we need to discuss about how the expenditure should be? We need to tighten our belt if we are to manage to finance this budget when it comes to incomes. But also the person who is spending needs to look at how he spends. So we need also to remember that expenditure has to be done right. Let's not forget to monitor the expenditure. Let the Auditor General be very keen and hear the cry of the citizens that we are paying too much taxes, or we are receiving too much threats when it comes to proposals. And let it be clear that government needs also to spend the money that we receive wisely. Maybe we may save a bit more, and when we come to the next budget, we shall start with a good opening balance.
Very good. Gentlemen, this is, of course, an ongoing conversation, and we'll definitely be calling you back to come here so that we can continue to analyze the content contained in this document, and of course the debate that will unfold in Parliament in the coming days. Otherwise, thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning. Your time is highly appreciated and your insight is well received. Asante sana.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, we've been talking to Robert Kamwara. He's a taxation lawyer and an advocate of the High Court, as well as FCPA Evans Moturi, who is a tax expert working with the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya, joining us this morning to help us put into perspective the Finance Bill 2023, the document that has generated so much reaction from public to the church, to the economist. Remember, this document is coming up for debate in the Parliament next week. And also remember, on the 15th of this month, the Cabinet the Cabinet Secretary of the National Treasury is expected to outline government expenditure plan for the year 2023-2024. That will be on Thursday next week. And of course, remember, we're going to beam you all the live proceedings from the National Assembly. We'll continue with more debates on this document as time goes by. My name is O'Brien Kimani. The first hour is over. We are coming back with the second hour of this conversation, and we want to look at the cryptocurrency. Well, This is a segment of the market that is growing so rapidly. But there are challenges, and of course we shall be looking into that. I will be joined by crypto experts. Stay right here for that conversation.
Boresha maisha na bima. Je, wajua kwamba unaweza simamia gharama za matibabu usiyotarajia kupitia bima ya afya? Hakikisha unaelewa sheria na masharti ya mkataba wako wa bima, kama vile kipindi cha kusubiri fidia, hali yako ya afya, majukumu yako na viwango vya dhamani vya bima yako. Fahamu dhamani ya kila aina ya bima unayoipata ili kuelewa kiwango cha pesa unachostahili kutumia kwa tiba ya kila hali au ugonjwa. Kuwa chonjo kwa gharama ya matibabu kwa kukata bima ya afya. Chukua bima ya medical uilinde familia yako. Sasa wajua, ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na IRA. Bima bora kwa taifa.
Welcome to East Africa. This is Safari Rally Kenya.
The WRC Safari Rally set for June 22nd to June 25th in Naivasha. This event, the seventh leg of the WRC calendar, consisting of 19 stages, will see drivers, among them defending champion and series leader Khalid Vanpera, battle in what's considered as the toughest rally in the world. KBC Channel 1 will bring the action to your living room, where a total of only 5 stages will be broadcast live on KBC Channel 1 and the Shakedown exclusive on our Facebook page. Catch the WRC Safari Rally on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner. Finally, it's back with a bang. The toughest rally on the WRC calendar returns to the terrain of the Great Rift Valley.
This is Safari Rally 2023 legacy event, heritage event. This is gonna be a rally like no other.
An exciting celebration of true authentic Kenyan sport. Tune in to KBC Channel 1 on Friday, 9th of June at 3 p.m. as His Excellency President William Ruto kicks off the celebrations for the 70 years of Safari Rally in Kenya and activate the Sports and Creative Economy Master Plan.
이번에 기도 들어주시면 제 평생 사제의 도리를 다해서.
뇌물 받으러 가시는 거예요?
네가 아직 모르는구나. 우리 서에서 뇌물 안 받는 건 나밖에 없어.
뭐라고 씨부리는 거야? 막을.
아씨!
쟤들이 유일하게 겁내는 게 선배님이라면서요. 선배님이랑 싸움 붙으려면 상조회사 회원가입부터 하고 와야 된다면서요.
Unapeleka wapi hiyo picha?
Hapa pana picha. Hii ni frame tu. Mtazitoa zote hizi ntundike zangu.
Kombo ndio alikuja hapa na Mama Lea. Wajua
One day, I'll come over and have a chat with my dad, and I will tell him absolutely everything I know. He will find out who you really are, Malena. And on that day, I'll be the happiest woman on earth. I can't wait. I'm really so excited for that moment.
If there's anyone here today who has reasons why these two shouldn't be married, you may speak now or forever hold your peace.
Please don't do it. I just can't go through with this.
Las Bandidas. Subhanallah walhamdulillah. La ilaha illallah wallahu akbar.
Mwenyezi Mungu anasema wala in kafartum, ikiwa mtakufuru neema za Allah, inna adhabi la shadid, hakika adhabu yangu ni nzito, hakuna mtu atakayeweza kuihimili adhabu ya Allah tabaraka wa taala. Aqulu ma tasmaun.
Ikafikia kiwango ambacho na Aisha radhiallahu anha aliweza kumuuliza, hivi mbona wazidisha ibada kwa wingi sana wakati Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala amekujalia neema? Basi Mtume Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam alijibu kwa kuuliza, je, sipaswi kuwa mja mwenye kumshukuru Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ambaye ni Mola wangu?
Unyoe ndefu na pato unakuja na hizo ndefu hapa hivi. Na wao uliambiwa uchukue litaya na pato huko hapa. Sasa hiyo unakoja tu. Sio ni kipula mheshimiwa. Mimi najuaje? Ndio nakwambia vile kulingana na vile mimi namchuanga. Na kielele ni nini kuleta kwa chini? Ati kielele. Punguza mdomo. Toa hizo nini kwa serikali niweke kwa kunia saki mheshimiwa. Tunasema mimi naibiwa. You also a thief because you condoned. Ulijua patalaisa inaibiwa. Ndio huyu hapa mheshimiwa.
Hapa ule jamaa ambaye amekuajiri.
Ndio huyu mheshimiwa huyu hapa.
Wewe.
Yuko wapi? Mimi sioni. Ndio huyu. Give you a job in Matunda. It's you because you are the one you pick it you and you bring me inside your job. Hiyo kisungu yako. Hiyo kisungu imekuwa moto, si ndio? Moto gani?
Welcome back. You're watching Base Check. We're live from Broadcasting House. First hour down. The second hour is starting right away. And the first hour we are conversing around the much talked about Finance Bill 2023 that has elicited so much reaction from the clergy, the political platforms, as well as the economists. And of course, you have had time now to focus on something different. And we want to look at the world of digital currencies. Look, this is a market that is expected to register a growth of a compounded growth of 12.5% from the year 2023 all the way to the year 2030. It is currently estimated that the digital or the cryptocurrency market is valued at about almost $1 trillion US. And so you're talking about over 100 trillion Kenya shillings. Well, so what is the future and what are the trends talking about in the world of the cryptocurrency? I'm joined by two gentlemen who are experts in this field. This is Dr. Favor Sunano. He's a cryptocurrency consultant. He has traveled widely around the world analyzing and discussing cryptocurrencies. He's joining us here to help us understand more about cryptocurrencies. Favor Sunano, thank you very much for joining us on BizCheck.
Thank you for having me.
Asante sana. And next to Favor, we have Steve Wainaina. He's also a digital currency analyst based here in Kenya. He's joining us this morning to help put into perspective conversations around digital currencies. Thank you very much, Steve, for your time.
Thank you for having me.
And I want to start with Favor Sunano. When you look at the digital currencies, from a global perspective, in the year 2023, what conclusions do you make?
Well, first of all, I want to say in cryptocurrencies is a very dynamic industry right now. I'll call it an industry. Mm-hmm. And there are really no experts, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Let me really correct that. There are really no experts right now because it's so dynamic. I got started in 2015 and so much have happened in the last 8 years. Mm-hmm. This year, for example, a lot is going to happen. It's already happening. Mm-hmm. And for example, Bitcoin, which is the very first cryptocurrency that was created by Satoshi Nakamoto, it has been on the floor for a while now. And it's going to be like that for throughout this year, basically. We are actually in the bear market. Mm-hmm. Now, there are two markets. We have the bullish market, we have the bear market. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people who are expecting probably Bitcoin to just shoot to the moon this year may not happen. Mm-hmm. So the market is still bearish. Yeah. So you need to really, really understand how to make money even in the bearish market, how to position yourself in a bearish market. People have lost their arm and a leg investing carelessly in cryptocurrency. And so you need to really, really position yourself properly. What angle? Because the technology that backs cryptocurrency is actually blockchain. And that is actually what we should be focused on. Not just dev buying a crypto and holding and hoping that it will rise. What can we do with the technology called blockchain? Blockchain is otherwise called distributed ledger. How can somebody anywhere around the world use that technology to advance their business? And that's what should be really focused on.
And this is what you're going to help us put into perspective on this show. Wainaina, the crypto market, you know, the craze, and Kenya is actually a big market when it comes to cryptocurrency trade.
That's right.
The last time I checked, it used to be #1. I think it has been overtaken by Nigeria.
Yeah.
Nigeria is now the biggest market, crypto market in Africa. So what is driving the appetite for cryptocurrencies in Kenya?
First of all, when we talk about cryptocurrency, it is very important to understand what is the bedrock of the currency. And as Doctor said here, that it is important to understand first the technology.
That's right.
Which is very, very, very dynamic. The technology is taking this business to another level, you know, and the reason why it is important to understand technology of blockchain. It is going to give people the confidence why they should be in this space. And first of all, it is always important to give people assurance whether they are safe. And maybe you may allow me maybe talk about a little bit about this technology, blockchain technology, because it has features that gives confidence to people who understand it.
And the key word here is people who understand it.
Who understand it.
So which means there are people who do not understand it.
Yes, there are people who do not understand it.
And this is why they get it wrong.
Exactly.
Because they don't take time, first of all, to understand it.
Exactly. To understand it. And that one you should underline. Because blockchain #1 is a distributed database in different ledgers, which runs on different gadgets. And it has its features that guide that technology. Okay? #1, this technology is uncorruptible. That's one feature. You cannot corrupt it.
Meaning?
Once you have entered a data in blockchain technology, that's it.
Nobody can change it.
You can't change it.
Even yourself, you cannot
change it.
That's right.
It is sealed. And it will never forget. Because it is running on an internet system. Okay? And that's why people who understand it and they use cryptocurrencies, they can sleep comfortably without worry that their money maybe has... And getting the right platform, because people pretend to be in a business of cryptocurrency, but you find they don't have the license to be in the technology. So they pretend to be, but they are not licensed.
They are just pretending
to be in the space. It is a very, very very secured space. #2 feature of blockchain is decentralized. The transactions or the business or whatever asset you're going to be having in blockchain, it is end to end. The information is encrypted.
That's right.
For example, if we use our gadgets, the smartphones that we have, it is running on blockchain. And the information that runs on that phone, it is encrypted end to end. So whatever transaction that you do there, there's no third-party verification. It has to be me to you. And so in between here, nobody can tamper with it. And so it has a very good transparency. It's also another very powerful feature in blockchain technology. And let me say that you do not need to invest trust in it. Your trust is not needed. It's already a trusted, it has its own trust.
It has created its own trust.
Yes, exactly.
There is something that you talked about, you know, people venture into cryptocurrency or digital currency trading without having the relevant knowledge.
Yes.
What kind of knowledge here are we talking about?
You see, it is important to understand as I mentioned, blockchain, how it works. There are several technical matters that within the blockchain, which maybe we may not say here, because, but it is always important to understand how maybe, for example, a small gadget that we have, the smartphone, how does it run? Who updates it? You know, every time it runs and it tells you, can you update your softwares? And you're like, who is behind this phone to tell you to update? Who is checking? But you know what? It's a system that runs within its internet that actually updates your gadgets. And so people who do, if you don't understand, especially on the space of cryptocurrency, how you make money in it, or maybe you can do business in it, you may wonder, it will be a myth. You'll be surprised. How do people make money in this space? Or how do people make business? And as I told you that this space of blockchain is so wide. It's not only about cryptocurrency. There are other things that actually runs on blockchain.
That's right.
There are other things. For example, like there are people who buy assets in blockchain. You can own assets in form of NFTs, non-fungible tokens, which are valued in a crypto way. You know, it is important to understand the word crypto itself, because that's where we are right now.
And so the first point, you know, for the entry point is, first of all, to understand the platforms that digital currencies operate on, and number two, to understand the digital currencies themselves.
Yes.
And Fivo, when you look at this market and when you look at the growth of the cryptocurrency or the digital trade, digital currencies trade, when you look at the last 5 years, this is when we have seen an exponential growth. That's right. And this is also expected, you know, to continue. And I talked about the growth of this market, you know, at a compounded rate of 12.5% from now up to the year 2030. What do people ought to know? And if you have people out there who have been thinking about joining the market, is this the best time to join the trade?
I would say yes. Now, what should they look at for? First of all, you have to join a crypto-based company that is built on community.
And they are there?
Yes.
For example?
The Ultima community, for example, the Platinum World community, for example. We have...
It's based where?
It's based in Germany, and we have a lot of community. Now, why should you get involved in community-based cryptocurrency? Because the people add value. Now, if you create a currency, for example, like Kenyan shillings, and nobody is willing to accept Kenyan shillings, for example, the currency itself cannot spend itself. So, but if you create a cryptocurrency in a community, that means you can take that cryptocurrency, I can give to Steve, I say, okay, I want to purchase XYZ from you. The idea of cryptocurrency is not just to trade, to buy cryptocurrency and to sell tomorrow. The main deal that made Satoshi Nakamoto created cryptocurrency is in order for us to use it peer to peer. So if you want to, a lot of people just think about, in the next 10 years, for example, Kenyan shillings will probably have a cryptocurrency called Kenyan shillings, for example, because everything is going there. Now, you must create, first and foremost, a thriving community. Then you now create products that we use that blockchain and cryptocurrency. Now, let me explain that a little bit further. If you're an artist, maybe or you're an author, and you wrote a book. I'm trying to explain how the technology works now. You wrote a book, and you want to publish. The traditional way of publishing, you go to a publisher, and you can publish. How many copies do you want to publish? You want to publish 10,000 copies, for example. Now, after doing that, somebody can take your book, after reading, and can give to somebody else. You get on point. Somebody can take the e-copy, if you have it on Amazon, for example, and somebody downloads it, he can share that copy. And he only bought it once. He can even sell it to somebody else. Right? But with blockchain, that is practically impossible. Why? Because when you want to publish your assets or your book on the blockchain, for example, it will ask you how many digital copies do you want to create. You say, okay, I want to create 10,000 digital copies, for example. Now, the moment you create it, it is stamped, it's time-stamped, it's there for life, like what Mr. Steve said. Now, the moment I go to that platform and say, I want to purchase a copy of your book, if I purchase one copy, what is left is 9,999.
Yeah.
Now, I cannot create new copies. Now, if I have that copy and finish reading it and say, okay, let me do the traditional way of selling it to a friend, the moment I transfer that copy to a friend, I've transferred ownership of that book. I don't have the copy any longer. It's just like you sending your picture on your phone to somebody else. You still have the copy, right?
Yeah.
Now, if that picture is currency, for example, and you decide to send it to somebody, that means you still have a copy of the money. That has been a problem making money digital over the years until 2009. So today, if I send you that value, I no longer own it. It leaves me, whether it's ebook, whether it's a recording of a musician, for example, whether it's a digital, anything that is digital copy. The moment I send it to you, I have transferred ownership to you. And that is what makes it so unique. So, coming back to why should somebody decide to participate in crypto space? First of all, you need to learn the technology. Whether you want to make money or not, you need to learn it, and learn it now. We cannot be coming late. Now, before now, Africans are always coming late in most technologies. But now we have the internet. So information is everywhere. When I first held my first training in the UK, I was amazed to see, that was in 2017, to see that I was training white folks who don't even have an idea about blockchain. Why? Because the information is on the internet, and anybody anywhere in Africa can access this information. But the first thing to watch out, as at now, look out for a cryptocurrency that has community. For example, in our own space, in the Platin world, we've created a lot of value for our community. Now, one of the values is the fact that you will probably buy and sell stuff. For example, you want to buy a car is costing you maybe 120,000 Kenyan shillings, for example, and you are paying monthly 10,000 Kenyan shillings to pay for the car. Do you know with blockchain technology, it's now possible to pay for that car, and at the end of the 12-month period, you start getting your money back in the form of token, cryptocurrencies. You have bought the car, but because you bought it through the platform of the Platin World blockchain, you are able to get your money for your car back 100%, and you have paid for the car. That is incredible. You don't even need to phone anybody. It just works automatically. So you first of all must look out for community-based cryptocurrency. Then make sure the technology is solid. Make sure it's truly blockchain, like you said. Many platforms, people just put money. So I put $10,000 to wherever it is. You just invest money carelessly. First of all, go for the technology. Is it truly blockchain technology they're using? Do they have a community?
How do you confirm that?
Oh, fantastic. Okay.
Maybe on that, to confirm that, someone must have, number one, smart contract.
That's correct.
Smart contract is the evidence. And you're able to have even hash that you're transacting with.
That's correct.
So and
what is a smart contract?
A smart contract, actually, it's one in blockchain. For you to do, for example, when you're doing maybe a transaction, we are doing a transaction, or maybe you're buying an asset, or maybe you're putting this document into the blockchain. There's what we call a smart contract that you sign with blockchain, with that technology, that to assure you that whatever you have put in it, it is safe, and you can always have it with the time that you have agreed to have it on that blockchain technology. And as Dr. Favor mentioned here, it is always very important when blockchain can never run without a community. It can never run without a community. There must be a community that has one purpose, to make sure whatever that is being done, it has its own usability. Maybe, can I take you back a little bit? So that we may understand why cryptocurrency at this age. If you look at there's something we call evolution of money. It is important to understand why we are talking about digital currency right now. And I'm so happy that even in Kenya, this week, or on Tuesday, I saw in one of the dairies, talking about Kenyan government now licensing digital currency. This is a very good trend. Because where we are right now, where we've come from, you cannot know where you are going unless you know where you have come from.
That's right.
The way we used to do trade before, from my history, I remember when we were doing barter trade, exchange of goods, and that was the mode of transaction. Okay, but I think because of inflation and the population, we moved from barter trade of exchanging of goods to goods. Then we came to gold as a means of exchange. Gold. Gold became very scarce, and inflation became, and so things became so expensive. We saw now, we had what we call evolution of coins, coin-based, and that was the medium of transactions. And coins, I think, for us who are Christians, we believe that Jesus was sold with 30 silver coins. That was the age of coins. And then later we found, because of the cumbersome and the heaviness of coins, we moved now to paper money. Paper money came to existence. And now we have been using paper money all the time. And now paper money became also a big issue, because you cannot carry your 1 million shillings in paper in your pocket. You feel insecure. And so even the banking sector introduced plastic money. You can carry your money in plastic now. But from 1950s, it's when the ATM came. So you find that the plastic money has come to an end. And I'm happy that in Kenya, we had the beginning of one of our electronic money, M-Pesa.
We pioneered mobile money.
We pioneered mobile money, electronic money.
Using our phone.
Exactly. And actually, and when you look at it, critically, it is a system-generated money also, because it's coded. It's coded. And now we are moving from electronic money now to cryptocurrency. And my brother, whoever is listening to me this morning, is that it is important to understand this space, because this is where the world is shifting to. People want to have efficiency, reliability, quick transactions, real-time transactions. And so when we're talking about cryptocurrencies today, is because of where we've come from and where we are. And maybe we need to check it and to actually look at it, and look at it positively in a big way, because it is a very wonderful space.
We've had a situation whereby people have been scammed the world over. Even just 2 days ago, the United States SEC, or what we call Securities Exchange Commission, is investigating the owners of Binance over some irregularities. And we also saw the collapse of
FTX?
Yes. And so we have a situation whereby people are losing, their investments, their resources to scammers, to investing in non-existent cryptocurrencies. And so how do you do your background just to confirm that I am investing in a genuine and in a real cryptocurrency?
Well, first of all, we need to realize whether it's crypto, whether it's fiat money, whether it's paper money, there will always be theft. There will always be scams. Before crypto came, people were duping people a lot of money. We call them 419s, right? So it is always existing. Now, if you want to get into a crypto space, first of all, look out for the technology. Ask them, is this coin, this thing I'm investing, does it have its blockchain? Show me. It's something you can view. You can actually see the blockchain, where you see the smart contracts, where you see the hash, you see everything, the way the transaction is moving. Now, what people say they lost money, for example, they invest in a platform, it's not really blockchain. You can build a website and say, invest 1 million Kenyan shilling with me, I'm going to give you 10% every month. It's not blockchain. But why people confuse it for blockchain, because you probably paid to do that investment with crypto. And that is the position for those portals, those websites, for example. They know when you pay with crypto, you cannot say you pay to XYZ person. That is the anonymous nature of what? Crypto payments. So they're using that advantage and confusing people that you're investing in crypto. You're not investing in crypto. You invest in a company that is on the internet. that promised you a percentage. Cryptocurrency, there's no percentage in cryptocurrency. You buy a crypto, for example, if it's real crypto, and you hope that the value goes what? Up. And that's what we're talking about, community-based cryptocurrency. Now, if you have a community-based crypto, as the community grows, the demand for the crypto what? Appreciates. So you have hope. So if you just put your money on the internet because somebody promised you a returns, and you have some fantastic people who do a lot of meetings, seminars on that, and people who attend these meetings and they put their money and say, oh, I've invested in crypto. You're not investing in crypto. You're investing in a platform that uses crypto as payment. That is very clear. So 90% or 99% of the losses people have experienced is because they invested in platforms that use crypto as what? Payment.
But they are fake. They're just fake.
They're just fakes. Well, I wouldn't say fake, really. Anything could happen. Probably the management of the platform, like you invest in you buy shares of a company, and the company goes down, maybe due to policies, government policy, or whatever it is, we really say it's fake. But my point is, realize that you're not investing in crypto. When you invest in a platform that promises you a certain amount of returns, because you're actually buying the crypto. You only paid using crypto. And the company is giving you returns in hope that they are using the money to trade or to do something.
Can you make losses even by investing in genuine cryptocurrencies?
Definitely, yeah. You can make losses, of course. Now, if you buy Bitcoin, for example, like 2 years ago, when Bitcoin was like $60,000, 2021, if you bought crypto then, and Bitcoin is $20-something thousand now.
$21,000.
You know, so now if you bought it then, you needed to hold. The only thing you need to do is to wait. The moment you sell it, then you have lost. That's the beautiful thing about crypto. If you have not sold it, then you have not lost. You get my point? It's like buying shares. The company shares is traded on the exchange. Until you what? Sell, you are truly not lost. You have your crypto only lost some value currently, but until you sell, you have not really what? Lost. That's the good thing about buying genuine crypto. You can still hold it.
You talked about Platin World as one of the crypto communities around there. Are there other crypto traders out there?
Other crypto traders?
Yeah, community traders.
Oh, yeah. Bitcoin, for example, have its community, but it's not an organized community where you can say, I want to enter this community. They are scattered all over the world. It's not organized. That, okay, I want to come. As a matter of fact, Platin World is the only successful crypto community-based coin as we speak on the planet.
With how many members?
We have close to 3 million members globally right now. Now, we
trading amongst themselves.
Yes, doing peer-to-peer. Doing peer-to-peer using the utilities of Platin World. For example, it's the only cryptocurrency that have a debit card. What kind of debit card? A crypto-based debit card. Do you know now with a debit card, you can have money offshore? You can have a pound account, you can have a euro account, yen account, you can have a yuan account, and USD accounts offshore on the cloud. So now, if I have Bitcoin, I could transfer Bitcoin into my account, and on that account, it can be converted to what? Dollars, converted to euro, converted to pounds, and I can use the ATM machine in any ATM machine anywhere around the world.
To withdraw or to deposit?
To withdraw or to deposit. You can use it to withdraw. You use to make normal, regular payments. Now, that is really, really big for us in the crypto space.
And those debit cards are real cards?
Real cards. I have them in my wallet there, right there. Now, so you can use it to make real-time payments. Now, that's one of the biggest utilities of the community. We have another community.
Can I use that debit card to go into a restaurant in Kenya?
Yes.
To buy meals?
Anywhere.
Can I go to the supermarket and buy food?
Do your grocery. Now, the good thing about it, we also have the cashback program. What's the cashback program? For example, your grocery every month is 10,000 Kenyan shilling, for example, or 1,000 Kenyan shilling for grocery every month, for example. And you know, in 12 months, you could do 12,000 Kenyan shillings worth of grocery. What you need to do is just to buy our cashback program, which is based on the blockchain. The moment you buy it, it saves the token worth 12,000 Kenyan shilling for you. And every month, it gives you what? 1,000 Kenyan shillings until the 12th month. By the 13th month, it starts giving you again 100% based on what you've bought. And so in 24 months, you've gotten 240,000 worth of Kenyan shillings because you use the... And this cash you are getting, you can load into your card, walk into any mall, and make your purchase.
I want to hear this from Steve. We have a situation whereby people just want to get into digital currency trade, hoping that in 6 months' time they will be millionaires. Is this a reality? Can it happen? Is this, or how does it work?
You know, not really. Okay, depending on the value of the assets that are in the blockchain. You know, depending on when and how you have been able to invest. Okay, and that's why blockchain technology, as Dr. Favor mentioned here, is that the value, the market, the demand. For example, what you mentioned about Bitcoin. Some few years ago, 2 years ago, it was at $6,000, $60,000. $60,000, one Bitcoin. So for somebody who had bought, or maybe who had gotten some Bitcoins, a Bitcoin maybe at 100,000 in the year 2019 probably, and in 2020 it was at 60,000. He made quite good money. But on the other hand, the market also does what? Fluctuates. And that's what proves that for sure, yes, you have the assets, but the value of the assets is a bit low. But you hold it. In this space you hold, you become patient. It is not a get quick rich space. It is a place of the future. So you need to be patient and be ready to go with the trend, how the market is going. And that's why I always tell people, when you come to this space, it is a space where you need to be patient, develop the attitude of that, the farmer attitude. When you have planted, you don't just go and look whether the seeds are germinating. You wait for its season to come, the day you will be able to harvest. So it's not something that is a get-rich-quick scheme. No. It has, and for sure, as you mentioned, people lose money in this space, yes. But on the other hand, even in other businesses, with the currency, with the normal business, even
the farming that you're talking about,
people lose money.
It could be drought.
Exactly,
they lose all your crops.
Exactly, it's the same. It's not unique. It's just that it's in the technology space. It is what we see in the real life, but here it's also in the technology. So it's the same thing. It's the same dynamics we experience in other businesses.
Using the same analogy of a farm, for example, I mean, you have put it correctly. I mean, you just dig your farm, you buy seeds, you plant, you put fertilizer, you expect rains to come, and then you hope that there will be enough rains for your crops to germinate and to grow. Sometimes it can happen. Sometimes it may not happen.
That's right.
And then you make your losses. And this is where now innovations and technology comes into play. You can decide, I am going to prepare my land, but I'm not going to wait for rains. I can irrigate my land using technology.
Fantastic.
And so it saves you from now the risk of the unexpected. And so even in this space, are there things that you can do to avoid yourself or to shield yourself from losses?
First and foremost, you must, like I said earlier, get in the space where you have community. Very important. For example, in the Platinum World community, talking about farming, we have a farming technology where we don't just buy these coins, we farm the coins. Farming simply means we are growing the coins. We buy a technology, then we buy seeds from the market. We plant the seeds are tokens, they are cryptos. We plant it into the digital farm, and it germinates new coins. So when the value of the coin goes up or goes down, it doesn't really affect us in the long run because we have created more coins from one coin that you got. So assuming you bought one coin and in the next 2 years, it has generated maybe 5 additional coins because of You are what? Growing the coin. You are farming the coin.
Yeah.
Now that shields you from drought, so to speak. That is when the price come down, you are not too bothered because your initial coin is frozen safely for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Then your profit coins, which you have germinated, that's what you can sell even if the price goes down. So that becomes your profit. So you can hold that initial coin for as long as you want because you have collected your profit. So that's the shield that our community-based coin provides. So it's very crucial that anybody want to get into crypto, please look out for a community-based cryptocurrency, because there you get that protection. And in Platinum World, for example, it's really, really incredible because we are opening the market. For example, now you can travel. Our community members can travel. They can get up to 40% discounts when they pay with our Ultima token.
And in the same breath, are there also fake digital communities?
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah. It's just, I told you, Mr. O'Brien, it's just like
real life.
Real life. We're having fake people in the normal businesses, you know? It's the same thing. And fake people will always look at the areas where they can make a kill and switch off. Even in the real businesses here, you find people, we've ever had people, they have been scammed money on the land, even in Kenya, you know? And it's not something new. So also in this space, because it also have a lot of money also, you find there are fake people. There's a fake community. Within the next 390 days, it's no longer there.
That's right.
And they pretend to be part of this space. But in the real sense, if you check whether they are on the platform of blockchain, that's one thing that I wanted to underline.
So the whole point is, first of all, to confirm.
It is to confirm whether they are on the bedrock, whether they are founded on the bedrock that holds this technology of currency.
And how do you do that?
That's what I told you. There's one thing that verifies you. Do you have a smart contract with the blockchain?
A smart contract.
A smart contract. Then number two, this company, does it have infrastructure? The infrastructure that holds, you know, let me go a little bit further. Blockchain technology is not only about money. No, it's a big area. And as I mentioned to you, that is a big area. And cryptocurrency is just a specific component. So it's a bedrock, it's a big space where many institutions can bank on the technology to keep their records straight, safe, and also to manage their businesses and to be able to run affairs of their businesses. For example, I want to mention, maybe like for example, in our situation in Kenya, when I give you a check, I write you a check, how long does it take to materialize it as money? It takes like 24 hours, or maybe another for 2 days. Why? Because in the banking sector, they haven't invested in this technology of blockchain. If they had blockchain, it takes seconds. It takes seconds to cash out the check, a check, because it is not about, there's no third-party verification. It is one of transaction. It's a transaction. So, but for you to be in this technology, you must know, is this company that you are dealing with, is it based on the bedrock that holds this technology?
And so from your explanation, I mean, you know, it's a very sophisticated.
Very
sophisticated. You're saying very, actually.
Yes.
And so this is not a business for...
It's a sophisticated and very easy.
Sophisticated but very easy.
Very easy to understand.
And then if it is sophisticated, that require, and sophistication in this aspect, that it requires you to do a lot of research, to do a lot of reading, and to do a lot of listening, then is this then a market or a trade or a business for anybody?
I think one of the things that we needed to do if you are interested in coming to the space, is to seek for mentorship.
Mentorship.
Very crucial. You need mentorship. Now, mentors will hold your hand and show you the steps. I've spent 8 years, for example, in this space. But the real progress started like 4 or 5 years ago, because I've gotten a lot of what I've been mentored myself, and so you need to get what mentorship.
Did you ever make any wrong choice in your?
Oh yeah, of course. I lost money. Seriously. I did that. I mean, yes, seriously.
What is the most you ever lost?
Well, let me say, okay, in dollars, I would say I've lost maybe $20,000.
$20,000?
Yes, in the past.
That's about 2-point-something million Kenyan shillings.
Yes, in the past. But I mean, in this.
And you never gave up?
Never gave up. I went ahead. In 2016, I went to the UK. I went to London Blockchain Week to go and understand the technology itself. In 2017, I went there several trainings in the UK on the blockchain technology, and that helped me to understand. That's why when Platinum World started in 2016, I was able to connect to it, because they have real technology based on my training. Even though it seems slow, the growth has been slow over the years, but it's standing for 7 solid years. Imagine a company that's a crypto-based company that is for 7 solid years and is still growing and is still innovating. So you must realize that it's a risky space, number one, but you need mentorship. If you get the right mentorship, then you may probably have 60-70% of success.
How do you identify your mentors?
Well, you need to go and look out for them.
Where do you look for them?
For example, if you want to come to crypto space, I could gladly mentor you.
If you're willing to mentor people?
I'm willing to mentor people. I've been doing that on my YouTube channel for the last 5 years.
Channel?
You just go search Dr. Favor, F-A-V-O-R, Dr. Favor Sunano. Just search it on YouTube and just subscribe.
And you're willing to
mentor you, guide you. I've done that in the last 4 years. I've mentored over 100,000 people in Africa. And I've seen people become financially independent, more than 10,000 people.
Steve, in the Kenyan market, do we have people who you can call as mentors? Because let's face it, I mean, if you just want to get into any business, you must first of all identify people who you look up to, and people who you can listen to, and people who can offer you guidance.
Yes.
Because let's face it, I mean, the financial world is a very complicated world. And as Favor is saying, you can end up losing or burning your fingers, as we say in the stock market. And so you need to identify people who you can work with, people who can help you to walk through this journey. Do we have such in Kenya?
Actually, yes, we do, because some of them have passed through such mentors like Dr. Favor, and I've also come across people who really, they're actually willing to accept to become also learners, to be able to learn, to train other people. And since it's a new area, especially in Africa, it is an area that is really being accepted so well by the people who are willing to transform their lifestyles, their life through this space, and also looking on areas of investments also. And so there are people here locally, and also people who are willing to mentor people. I'm also becoming one. I'm actually one of them, because this is a technology that is so wide. Because personally, I've been around for the last maybe 3 years.
3 years.
3 years now, learning this space, and I've come to realize it's so dynamic, because it's now, we are heading now, apart from in the blockchain, we are now talking about metaverse. Metaverse. And so it's such a dynamic area. And so mentoring, we are there.
We are there.
We are there.
Gentlemen, because we have to come to the end of this conversation, and I want to start with Favor. What is your message to the people listening and watching this program and asking themselves, how do I gain the relevant knowledge when it comes to cryptocurrency? How do I join communities of crypto traders?
Well, if you're watching this, I believe there's nothing like coincidence. You are watching this because you need to get this information. You need to know more about blockchain. You need to understand the Platinum World community because it's a community-based cryptocurrency. Now, the next step, if you want to get information, is to go to that YouTube channel I just mentioned, Dr. Favor Sunano, S-U-N-A-N-O. Just search my name on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, and I'm going to show you step by step and guide you, and you will see a lot of people who have succeeded. You will see the fact that you too can succeed, but be patient to learn first. That's the most important thing. And I give free education all across Africa.
All across Africa.
That's right.
What about you?
Yeah, I want to challenge our society, our community here in Kenya. Take time to learn. This is a very wonderful time for us to learn. We're living in the 21st century. Let us not live as if we are living in 19th century. We're in 21st century. Let's take time to learn. And this is a very, very wonderful space because it is challenging to each and every person to come on board and take time to be able to make more in your lifestyle. Yes,
in your lifestyle.
In your lifestyles.
Gentlemen, thank you so very much indeed for joining us this morning and for helping us put the conversation around cryptocurrency into perspective. Dr. Favor Sunano, thank you for your time. Steve Wainaina,
thank you.
Your time is highly appreciated.
Thank you very much.
Well, we started with conversations around the Finance Bill 2023, the controversies it has generated and the opportunities and the way forward. We are ending this conversation with the cryptocurrency trade. You have heard it from Dr. Favor Sunano. He's widely traveled. He's one of Africa's leading cryptocurrency traders, and also Steve Wainaina, who is also a cryptocurrency or a digital currency analyst, joining us this morning to help us put into perspective the conversations around cryptocurrencies, how to invest, how to avoid burning your fingers, and how to identify genuine platforms, and how, of course, to join the community of traders. My name is O'Brien Kimani. By the time now coming to 2 minutes to 12 o'clock, we have to wind up this conversation. Remember, Tamrini is coming up next. Otherwise, and thereafter, we shall be having the 1 o'clock bulletin. Until then, enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
It's back with a bang. The toughest rally on the WRC calendar returns to the terrain of the Great Rift Valley.